What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home? A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1. First up is a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Deep depression over southwest Bay of Bengal heads towards Tamil Nadu. Rainfall across Sri Lanka to decrease from tomorrow. 24 districts affected by extreme weather. Over 400,000 people impacted. Several rivers at risk levels. Residents near reservoirs urged to exercise caution. Bodies of 3 missing in Ampara tract accident found. Advanced level examinations postponed until 3rd of December. Tasker Digadantu I dies after contact with power line. Moody's may raise Sri Lanka's credit rating.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
What you just witnessed was how people across Sri Lanka have been affected by severe weather conditions over the past few days.
However, the Department of Meteorology forecasts a decrease in rainfall starting tomorrow as the deep depression over the southern Bay of Bengal gradually weakens. We now cross over to Bhutmin Amradivakara for more details from the Newsfirst Weather Centre.
Around 400,000 people have been affected by this extreme weather situation in Sri Lanka. So we at the Newsfirst Weather Centre gave you details about the current weather situation in Sri Lanka. So if I can take you back to Monday, it was a depression, then it intensified into a deep depression. So it is located 600 kilometers, around 600 kilometers away from Trincomalee. And on Tuesday, the weather authorities predicted that it can be a cyclone. So on Tuesday, it was right here, which was very closer to the location compared to Monday. And coming back to Wednesday, it was right here. So it is right here on Wednesday. So let's see where this deep depression is located right now. So this depression is located around 130 kilometers northeast of Trincomalee. So according to the Met Department, this deep depression is likely to move slowly northwestwards closer to the east coast of Sri Lanka. And there's a possibility that this can intensify, but according to the Met Department, it is moving slowly and gradually the extreme weather situation and also the rainfall around Sri Lanka will decrease in the coming few days. So according to the Met Department, showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the northern and north central provinces and in the Trincomalee district, and heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the northern province. So showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in Galle district, and showers or thunder showers will occur at several places elsewhere of the island in the evening or night. So what's the weather situation in the next 24 hours? Let's have a look.
උතුරු මැද ඊට අමතරව වයඹ
Intermittent rainfall or thunder showers are expected in the northern, north central and northwestern provinces, including the Trincomalee, Matale, Kegal and Kandy district. Additionally, rainy conditions are forecasted to affect other provinces across the island. Heavy rainfall is expected in the Trincomalee district of the northern province. Provinces such as Matale, Kegal, including the northwestern province, may receive intermittent rainfall from 75 to 100 millimeters. Wind speeds are expected to intensify, particularly in the north and Trincomalee districts, where gusts may reach 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. In the other provinces, wind speeds could increase up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour.
යෑමේ තත්ත්වයන් තියෙනවා. අනෙකුත් පළාත්වල පැයට කිලෝමීටර් 40-50 දක්වා ඉහළ යෑමේ තත්ත්වයන් තමයි තියෙන්නේ.
The bodies of 3 people who went missing after a tractor overturned in Ampara were recovered today.
During joint operations carried out by the police and navy personnel, 2 bodies, that of the driver and a child, along with the body of another person who had gone to ensure the safety of the children, were recovered. The tractor, which was carrying a group of students from a madrasa school in Nindavur, overturned near the Mavadipalli bridge in Ampara. 5 students managed to survive, and the bodies of 4 missing students were recovered yesterday. 1 student and another person who were on the tractor are still missing. Meanwhile, the body of a 54-year-old man who had gone missing yesterday between Galloya and Moravilloya was recovered today during a joint operation conducted by the police and navy rescue teams. Newsfirst correspondent reported that paddy fields and several low-lying areas in Senanayakapura, Ampara are inundated due to floods. Approximately 300 individuals from 120 families have sought shelter at the Pandiripu Mahavidyalaya in Kalmunai. Earlier today, a disaster management meeting was held at the Ampara District Secretary's office.
Our primary focus has been on the 25 families in the district's rural administrative areas, roughly 45 families in total. Based on the information we've received, it is estimated that around 152,000 people have been affected by the floods over the past week. Approximately 700 homes have sustained partial damage, while about 10 homes have been completely destroyed. Paddy fields have also been destroyed. Our government's top priority is to assess the extent of these damages and provide the necessary assistance. Following the President's special instructions, all essential services have been mobilized. The Defence Force, along with key government services and civil organizations, are working together to efficiently plan and manage these operations. Our primary objective is to save lives and reduce the risk posed by natural and man-made disasters.
The Batticaloa district has been severely impacted by the prevailing weather conditions. The overflow of the Santanamadu River has caused widespread flooding in the Sittandi 2, 3 and 4 areas. Rescue efforts have been underway, with many people being evacuated. Around 315 people are seeking temporary shelter at the Sittandi Alai Mahal Vidyalaya. Meanwhile, 600 people from 215 families from the Korale Patra and Valakchene divisional secretariats have taken refuge at the Tillayadi Saraswati Vidyalayam. According to Newsfirst correspondent, 3,787 people from 1,350 families are currently sheltered at 12 disaster relief centres across Senkaladi, Batikalo. Newsfirst correspondent also reported that the roads connecting Kaluwanchikude to Vellaveli to Mandur have been submerged. The body of a 30-year-old man who went missing while bathing in the Maha Kachakodia in Vaunia was found this morning with the assistance of lifeguards and local residents. Yesterday, he was swept away by the currents when the water level rose when he went to bathe in a lake. Many roads have been inundated due to heavy showers. The section near the Aukana Bridge on the main road from Kalawewa to Tambuttegama has been inundated, disrupting vehicular movement. The Colombo-Batikalo main road has remained inundated for 3 days. According to the Newsfirst correspondent, the road is under 4 feet of water. The road from Galneva to Kakirawa is inundated near the Handungama Bridge. Newsfirst correspondent said that the road was inundated with flood water levels measuring 20 feet. 2 civil defence personnel stationed at the Manampitiya sand suppliers were stranded due to flooding caused by the overflowing of Mahaveli River. Following the opening of the sluice gates at the Dadru Oil Reservoir, the army took swift action to rescue 3 individuals stranded in Kobegane using boats for the operation. The Somavatiya sacred ground remains submerged. According to the Newsfirst correspondent, rescue operations are being carried out with the help of boats. Over 60 people, including monks, personnel from the Triforces and workers at the sacred site, were at the premises. The monks at the temple confirmed that everyone is safe and that all necessary facilities, including food, are available. A 3-story building in the 10th milepost in Galagedara along the Kandy Kurunangala Road collapsed into the Galagedara Canal. The Railway Operations Centre has announced that train services along the upcountry railway line are still restricted to Nanuoya due to the collapse of the mounds.
All sluice gates have been opened due to heavy rainfall and the water is being released into the Randenigala Reservoir. Nine sluice gates of the Polgolla Mahaveli Dam were opened today to manage potential flooding caused by rainwater runoff in the Mahaveli water catchment areas. The water from this is flowing into the Victoria Reservoir. 10 sluice gates of the Parakrama Samudra have been opened with the water being released into the Ambanganga. 2 sluice gates of the Kotmale Reservoir have been opened. People residing in low-lying areas have been advised to exercise extreme caution. Newsfirst correspondent reported that 2 sluice gates of the Kalawewa have also been opened. 12 sluice gates of the Rajangane Reservoir were opened this evening due to the rising water levels. 2 sluice gates of the Yangamu Reservoir have been opened by 7 feet, releasing water into the Lunuoya with a discharge rate of 3,600 cubic feet per second. 4 sluice gates of the Dambuluoya Reservoir remain open, releasing water into the Kalaoya. Due to heavy rainfall in the water catchment areas, 6 sluice gates of the Nachadu Reservoir were opened this morning. Authorities have advised the public living near the Malwatu Oya to exercise caution. Newsfirst correspondent reported that 4 sluice gates of the Galimbindunu Avenue Divulawewa Reservoir have been opened too.
The flood warnings issued for Dadru Oya, Hadoya and Munteniyaru Oya and Mahaveli River have been extended for another 48 hours. Now the Irrigation Department urges people to exercise extreme caution.
Yanoya from Horopatana, Malwatuoya from Tantrimale and Dadruoya from Murugaswewa remains in the minor flood levels. The water level of the Kalani River in Navalagam Vidya and the Nilvala River in Talgahagoda is also at a risk level. Mahavali River is at a risk level from Peradeniya. Landslide red alerts issued to several divisional secretariats in 4 districts remain in effect. The affected areas include several divisional secretariats across the districts of Kandy, Matale, Nuwara and Kegol. Heavy showers have affected 24 districts. The latest report issued by the Disaster Management Centre shows that 401,707 people have been affected due to the heavy showers. 12 people have lost their lives due to the adverse weather conditions.
The Department of Examinations has announced that the advanced level examinations will be postponed until the 3rd of December, with exams resuming on the 4th of December as originally scheduled.
We will now announce the new dates for the examinations. Examinations originally scheduled for the 27th of November will now be held on the 21st of December. Examinations scheduled for the 28th of November will take place on the 23rd of December. Examinations planned for the 29th of November will now be held on the 27th of December. Examinations scheduled for the 30th of November will take place on the 28th of December. Examinations originally set for the 2nd of December will now be held on the 30th of December. Examinations scheduled for the 3rd of December will now take place on the 31st of December. I would like to announce that the Sri Lanka Law School Entrance Examination 2024 and the first qualifying examination 2016-2024 for senior statisticians and statisticians at the Department of Registrations of Persons and Statistics will not be held on these revised dates. Candidates for these exams will be notified of the new dates in the future.
The deep depression over the southwest Bay of Bengal has intensified, prompting alerts across South India. Now we are crossing over to N. Pardiban for an update from Nagapattinam, India.
Over the past 2 days, Nagapattinam has experienced heavy rainfall, with some areas experiencing up to 300 millimeters of intense rainfall. This has caused widespread floods. Around 5,000 acres of paddy fields and 9,000 acres of salt pans are currently inundated. Fishermen have been unable to go to sea for the past 10 days, and many people living in low-lying areas have been moved to safer places. In total, 314 relief camps have been set up across Nagapattinam, and about 1,200 people are currently sheltering in 5 of them.
Newsfirst செய்திகளுக்காக நாகையிலிருந்து பார்த்திபன்.
The tusker known as Digadanthu I of Kalavavar tragically lost its life after coming into contact with an unauthorized power line.
The tusker known as Digadanthu I of Kalavavar was a major attraction for both local and foreign tourists. According to wildlife officials, Digadanthu I was approximately 50 years old. Due to the prevailing heavy showers, Kalavavar has overflown, submerging the surrounding reserve and river banks in water. Digadanthu I, last seen around Galkiriagama and Idruvav areas, was found dead this morning. Wildlife officials suspect that the tusker was electrocuted this morning. The electric fence was set up illegally and in an unsafe manner.
ඒ ඇවිදිනකමට අවිලා තමයි ඉතින් මේ හානිය සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මට තරංගත් පිටියටයි සංසාරේවත් ඔහම වෙන්න එපා. මට ගොඩ දුකයි. මගේ දරුවෙක් උන්ට වගේ මං ආදරේ යතාට යාලියා මගේ කඩේ ළඟින් ගියාට කවදාකවත් මට හානියක් කරලා නැහැ. අලි කියන්නේ ඉතින් අපේ රටේ සම්පතක් නේ මහත්තයා. උන්ටත් මේ බිම අයිතිනේ. මිනිස්සුන්ට විතරක් නෙමෙයි නීති.
A similar tusker named Digadanthu II had lost its life 2 years ago due to an attack by another tusker. Similarly, tuskers like Revatha and Baranath are no longer found around Kalavavar. Now, the largest tusker we could see around the Vavar, Digadanthu, is gone. If we continue to lose such magnificent creatures, what will become of us? Elephants and other wildlife are the most crucial part of preserving our country's biodiversity. We must act immediately to ensure the protection of the remaining giants and take steps to safeguard them for future generations.
Newsfirst. Main sponsor.
Generators for long-term rent. Multiways Engineering Private Limited.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Welcome back to the news. The president of the World Bank Group revealed that Sri Lanka has been selected as one of 20 countries worldwide to host the Integrated South Asia Office. This was during a virtual meeting yesterday between President Anrukumar Dissanayake and the president of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga.
The Integrated South Asia office is set to open on the 25th of July 2025. This initiative is part of President of the World Bank Group Ajay Banga's plan to establish 20 integrated country offices to improve coordination among 4 key World Bank Group institutions: the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development or IBRD, the International Development Association or IDA, the International Finance Corporation or IFC, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency or MIGA. During the meeting, the President of the World Bank Group highlighted his commitment to promoting job creation and addressing critical development challenges. According to the President's Media Division, these priorities include providing Sri Lanka with financial and technical assistance to implement innovative solutions in sectors such as education, healthcare, social protection and economic prosperity. The World Bank's support also extends to economic policy finance, competitiveness, investment, institutional development and poverty alleviation. Additionally, efforts are focused on advancing agriculture, water management, climate action, environmental sustainability, social inclusion, infrastructure and digital transformation.
Moody's Ratings has said it may raise Sri Lanka's long-term foreign currency rating following the government's bond exchange offer aimed at completing the restructuring of international bonds.
Moody's Ratings has announced that it has placed the government of Sri Lanka's CA long-term foreign currency issuer rating under review for an upgrade. The previous outlook was stable. In addition, Moody's assigned the PCAA1 foreign currency senior unsecured ratings to Sri Lanka's new US-denominated debt issuances, part of the government's exchange offer. These include the macro-linked bonds, the governance-linked bond, and step-up and past-due interest bonds. The move to place the issuer rating on review follows the government's recent announcement of an exchange offer, which, if successful, would finalize the restructuring of international bonds and reduce default risk on new issuances. The restructuring is part of broader economic reforms supported by development partners like the International Monetary Fund, aiming to lower external vulnerability and government liquidity risk while improving fiscal and debt sustainability. The review will continue until the exchange offer concludes and the outcome of the restructuring is clear. Moody's highlights that Sri Lanka's willingness and capacity for reform are key drivers behind the potential upgrade.
Soundproof generators, long-term rent, Multiways Engineering Private Limited. Number 54/1, Delgahavatta Road, Ratmalana.
Founding chairman of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Chegu Isadeen, has passed away at the age of 80. His funeral was held this evening.
Founding chairman of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, Chegu Isadeen, passed away at his residence in Akkarepattu after a prolonged illness. A multifaceted personality, Isadeen was a political leader, speaker, writer, poet and philosopher. In 1986, he co-founded the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress alongside the late MHM Ashraf. Isadeen later became the leader of the opposition for the combined northern and eastern provinces during the country's first ever provincial council elections. Later, he distanced himself from the SLMC and entered parliament through the United National Party's national list. He served as a Member of Parliament from 2000 to 2011, during which time he held significant roles, including as a non-cabinet minister in the Ministry of Export Development and as Deputy Minister of Mass Media. Chegu Isadeen's funeral prayers were held this evening at the Akkarepattu Juma Mosque.
News First with the people.
The International Research Conference 2024 of the Sri Lanka Law College was held in Colombo today.
DSLLC International Research Conference 2024, held under the theme Law in the 21st Century, Exploring New Frontiers, was inaugurated in commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Law College. The event was attended by legal academics, practitioners and researchers aiming to challenge controversial assumptions and spark discussions on the future of law.
Sri Lanka Law College being the sole institution that is responsible to produce persons with necessary knowledge and skills to admit to the Supreme Court as attorneys at law, by this endeavor has taken up the challenge to go beyond its traditional role by bringing together a group of persons with in-depth knowledge and in vast areas of law to the benefit of all those who have an interest in making their contribution to the society in the present day's context.
As much as we are going to fix the economy, most of the public who voted don't trust us for that. But they do trust us for one thing, that we will uphold the rule of law and we will fight corruption and waste. So that's why it's very important for us that any drive that is geared towards fighting corruption, theory or practice, is very important to us because that's the biggest mandate we have. And our government fully understands the need to support any initiative to fight corruption.
Fighting corruption is not merely a moral obligation. It is a pragmatic necessity. For example, as Sri Lanka works hard to meet the conditions of IMF program, enhancing transparency and combating corruption is an essential prerequisite. But it also offers an opportunity to strengthen Sri Lanka's economic and social foundation. Corruption is also a major concern for foreign investors, including Japanese companies. If this issue is to be visibly and substantially addressed, it will greatly enhance the appeal of Sri Lanka as an attractive destination for investment by countries around the world.
The conference will serve as a platform for discourse on 15 key areas of legal practice with distinguished speakers and experts in the field.
The 7th edition of the Colombo International Maritime and Logistics Conference 2024 began yesterday.
The Colombo International Maritime and Logistics Conference 2024 will bring together global leaders, industry experts and professionals to discuss the challenges and opportunities shaping the future of maritime trade and logistics. The conference will address key issues including technological advancements, sustainable practices and the impact of global trade dynamics.
Why did I start this? Because I saw Sri Lanka was not talking about herself to the world. We talk of a beautiful island, we have a top-class port, but we are not doing enough. And I used to get invited to speak at the Singapore Maritime Week every year. And I go there in April and see so many people coming in, seeing the place, talking about maritime. What are we doing? So that is the birth of this conference. So I decided to do this in 2014. So it's the 10th year since the decision was made. And we've successfully handled this for the last 10 years, including events in India and Bangladesh.
The keynote speech was delivered by the Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University.
Standing at the crossroads of opportunity and responsibility, the maritime vision for the Indian Ocean region is not just one nation's aspirations, but a collective journey for the growth, security, and sustainability of South Asia. Embracing the ocean's boundless potential, the region's growth story is anchored in its strategic position, as was mentioned, robust port infrastructure, and a rapidly expanding maritime sector. Technological advancements, including digitalization, automation, AI-driven ships, blockchain, and smart ports, are further enhancing operational efficiency and transparency, making the region a critical player in global trade. With a 7,500-kilometer coastline and a strategic location at the heart of the Indian Ocean, India is stepping forward as both a regional leader and a global collaborator in shaping the future of maritime affairs. India's vision is guided by ambitious targets outlined in frameworks such as the Maritime India Vision 2030 and Maritime Amrit Kal 2047, which aim to position the country as a leader in the blue economy by transforming the maritime sector, and by this we mean going beyond just shipping and ports. The Sagarmala project, which is a keystone project of India, has an estimated investment of $70 billion to be met by 2035. It aims to modernize ports, improve logistics, and foster coastal development. By the year 2030, the goal is to double the cargo handling capacity to 2,500 million tons, reshaping the region's economic landscape.
The conference will feature international port operators, shipping companies, logistics companies, ancillary services companies, and technology partners to understand the global perspectives in addition to the South Asian focus.
The commemoration of the 1818 freedom struggle heroes was held at the historic Asgiri Mahavihara Pirivena in Kandy on Tuesday. Organized by the Madugalla family, the event paid tribute to national heroes Veera Kappetipola and Veera Madugalla Nilame, alongside the soldiers who sacrificed their lives for the nation during the warfare in Sri Lanka.
The 1818 Freedom Struggle Heroes Commemoration Program, organized by the Madugalla family, was held on Tuesday at the Asgiri Mahavihara Pirivena in Kandy. This annual commemoration celebrates the heroic sacrifices of Veera Kappetipola, Veera Madugalla Nilame, as well as the soldiers who laid down their lives for the country. Prominent attendees included former Sabaragamuwa Province Governor Tikiri Kobbekaduwa, former Eastern Province Governor Anuradha Yahampath, and the Basnayaka Nilame of the Sri Vishnu Devalaya in Kandy, Mahendra Ratwatte, along with his family that belonged to the historical Madugalla lineage. President Joe Biden has said that the United States will make another push with regional powers for a ceasefire in Gaza, involving the release of hostages and the removal of Hamas from power.
US President Joe Biden's remarks on X come just hours after a ceasefire came into force in Lebanon between Israel and Hezbollah, ending nearly 14 months of conflict. Hamas said it hoped for a similar deal in Gaza but continues to reject Israel's demands, which it perceives as surrender. According to reports, Israel launched a campaign to destroy Hamas in response to the group's unprecedented attack on southern Israel on the 7th of October 2023, in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken as hostage. More than 44,000 people have been killed and more than 104,000 injured in Gaza since then.
Tonight on the sports segment, Newsfirst Budhmi Namra Divakara brings you an exclusive interview with Sri Lanka's 17-year-old motorsport prodigy, Yevan David, and let's take a look.
This is a preview of what you'll hear in the future. Yevan David wins a Grand Prix. He is the man who has taken Sri Lanka to Formula One.
The young man from Sri Lanka enters the Euroformula Open Championship, hailed by Motor Park. He'll drive the Motor Park Dallara 320 to victory.
Last October, Yevan David, the 17-year-old Sri Lankan, made history by winning his maiden race in Euroformula. He also became the first Sri Lankan to win a race in a major international single-seater series. Yesterday, Newsfirst got an exclusive opportunity to have a conversation with him regarding his recent achievements.
We talked about you, we talked about your story. So what did you feel when you heard the national anthem, when you won that podium on that rainy day at Monza?
It was incredible. I mean, to win on my debut weekend, it was my first ever race in that category in European F3 in Euroformula, and just to cross the line first and really believe that I won a race in cars, it was incredible, and I was just so happy. I was cheering in the car, and when I heard the national anthem on the podium, I couldn't have been more proud of myself and everyone that supported me and everyone that was there for me this year.
As a person, you get to do what you love to do, right? So in your perspective, what do you feel about it?
I think I feel very lucky to be able to have this opportunity to do the sport I love and have the passion for it more than anything I could have dreamed of. And I just have to say a huge thank you to everyone who made this possible, because without them I would not be racing right now. I would not be doing what I love. So I feel super lucky to have this opportunity, and for all the kids who would like to do the same thing, you know, the chance is there. Whatever situation you may be in, you know, you just need the right people to help you, and I'm sure you can do it too. So I'm really appreciative to do the sport I love.
So Yaman, so what do you feel when Sri Lankans talk a lot about you?
It's an incredible feeling, because, you know, to have all of Sri Lanka supporting me and just pushing me forward, I don't see it as pressure at all. I see it as just motivation and confidence. So it's really appreciative to have that. And also Uncle Delanta and Eshan Aya and Ashan Aya and all these drivers from Sri Lanka, they're also supporting me as well. They want me to achieve my dreams. So I have to say a huge thanks to them, because, you know, not a lot of people would support me like Sri Lanka does. So there's no country like Sri Lanka.
Yevan David, who is a rising star in the global racing world, is a story to remember.
Will be for the second time this weekend. Yevan David, who takes victory.
Far down the fin, and here comes David, going to try and make his move on a Godsey, and he's not going to be the only one.
The young man from Sri Lanka enters the Euroformula Open Championship, hailed by Motor Park. He'll drive the Motor Park Dallara 320 to victory.
Moving on to cricket at stumps on day 2 of the first test between Sri Lanka and South Africa. South Africa ended day 2 at 132 for 3 wickets, leading by 281 runs. Sri Lanka, meanwhile, recorded their lowest total in the test after being bowled out for 42 runs in Durban.
While South Africa were bowled out for 191 runs, replying to South Africa's first innings, Sri Lanka were all out after 13.5 overs on day 2 of the first test. Marco Jansen returned career best test figures of 7 to 13 from 6.5 overs. Kamindu Mendis's 13 and Lahiru Kumara's 10 were the only batters to reach double figures. The innings lasted 83 balls, the second shortest in men's test history when a team has been bowled out.
And with that, we wrap up primetime news for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I am Sagar Ferdinando.
And I am Hashni Pathirana. Thank you for watching and good night.